Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ben, and this is the Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue Podcast. Hey family, I hope you're well wherever you are and you got that thin blue smoke rolling. This is an episode from Season 7 of the Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue Podcast, and in this season we are looking solely at the wide brown land of Australia and all the different barbecue action that goes on inside it. So I'm going to be talking to competitive teams. I'm going to be heading out to festivals. I'm going to hit up some butchers and manufacturers and charcoal producers and rub manufacturers. I'm going to be talking to everybody in the whole scene in Australia, and I'm going to slip in a few NZs as well. So keep that in focus, because we're going to be hitting that up soon too. We're going to be jumping the channel, which is going to be very cool. Now, today's guest is Wookie from Grillas in the Mist, and being a huge Star Wars fan, I just love that guy is called Wookie. It's awesome. So the team is just simply known as Wookie and Magilla, and Grillas in the Mist have become one of the teams to watch in 2020 after such a cracking year in 2019. They won multiple trophies, RGCs and GCs, including taking out the hugely coveted Invitational in November in the ABA ladder. And they followed that up immediately after by another GC the very next weekend at Kangaroo Valley. So in today's episode, I'm going to be sitting down with Wookie. We're going to jump right into his origin story. We're going to work out sort of where these guys came from and how they got into competition barbecue. We're going to get the rundown on 2019. We're going to talk about the results, their ups and downs, the opportunities that have arisen from all the success that they experienced last year. We're going to find out what they've got lined up in 2020. So that's going to be a good one for those of you who like to travel around to the festivals and you want to track these guys down and meet them in person. They're really approachable guys. You can walk up, shake their hand, have a chat. They love it. And we're going to talk about things that I have personally found interesting from following them on Instagram and Facebook. I want to find out about their smoker setup, because a lot of people these days are adding extra smokers. They're building bigger and better competition tents and arenas and things. These guys seem to actually be taking a bit of a minimalist approach. And from what I can see in the photos, they're just cooking on one GMG Jim Bowie and a Weber Go Anywhere. So I'm going to find out what's happening with that, because they're sort of bucking the trend on that, but at the same time slaying everybody else in the results. So that's going to be really cool. And then we're going to round out the episode, and you're really going to be excited by this. Wookie is going to dish out some competition tips and tricks for us all. So we're going to find out all the little things that he does that add to the overall story of theirs at competitions that really gets them over the line and gets those trophies into their pockets. So with all that to look forward to, let's get stuck into it.
This is the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions Barbecue Podcast with your host, Ben Arnott. How long's it been since your last confession?
Wookie, mate, it's great to have you back on the show. Welcome to the confessional.
Thank you.
Mate, it's been May, I think, since we last spoke.
Yeah, I think you spoke with Chris.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Sorry, yes. I spoke to the other half of Grillas in the Mist after you guys won the first ever Angus Invitational.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get stuck into it, mate. Tell us the background story for Grillas in the Mist. Where did you guys come from? How did you partner up? What made you decide to get into competition barbecue?
Oh, look, we'd been mates, me and Chris, for quite some time. Pretty much we'd been doing a bit of barbecuing, and then we went to Anaconda and got a couple of those cheap-ass smokers that were just shockers. And then I've been watching too much Pitmasters, so I started deciding I wanted a pellet griller. So we looked at heaps and heaps of different ones, and at that point in time, Green Mountain Grills were in Australia. So both of us bought our grills 9 years ago, our first GMG. Well, actually, nearly 10 now, very close to 10 years ago.
Wow.
We just started cooking all the time on those and experimenting and watching TV shows or watching every YouTube thing like everyone else has done. And then one day we decided, well, all of our friends like this food. we're going to go and get into this barbecue competition circuits, and we're going to slay it. And so that was 4 years ago, our first competition. Be coming up 5, I think, 4 or 5 years ago at Orange. So we went armed. Had to come up with a decent name, and both of us are from Bathurst. So it's always smoky up here and foggy, and so we decided that because we both look like Grillas, we'll call ourselves Grillas in the Mist. And the other guy that I competed with, Chris, his nickname was Magilla, so Magilla Gorilla. So we ran with that and did a couple of silverbacks and stole the GMG logo and put it on a banner. And we went off to, at first you thought we were going to conquer the world, and very first comp, like everyone else, you learned that comp life, comp taste is completely different. So we were very close to the bottom of that comp, and lucky enough, there were some really nice teams around, like Double Barrel. They came over and spoke to us and gave us some tips and tricks, and the head judge there came and spoke to us and told us some different things, and we headed off to Port Macquarie after that and competed there a little bit better. And then we ended up at Gloucester, and we did Gloucester for our first time. And it was the very first Gloucester comp, and that's where we won our first trophy. And I think that's when we were hooked, taking all these photos of this little third place lamb trophy on the way home on the bonnet of the car, thinking we were kings.
It is a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, so we that was probably what got us in, and we were only doing a few comps at the beginning, probably 5 or 6 comps a year, and then we started doing a few more. And this last year, we couldn't really hit our stride. The worst thing is that the other half of the team, Chris, he bought himself a pub, so his last competition was May last year with the team. But luckily enough, I've had a good wife that's picked up the reins, and she's the driving force behind us.
What a champion.
Yeah.
And it's also very handy to have a best mate who owns a pub.
Yeah. Visit him a few times, have a couple of beverages.
And I'm sure he's a sponsor for the team now, and make sure you've got all the hydration that you need for every competition.
Might have to bring that up with him when I speak to him next. But he has been, because he cooks in his pub every day pretty much, and so it's been a bit of a trial kitchen for us. So we can do different things or different flavour profiles for people in the country, which obviously is very different to some people in the city. So he gets to trial a few things with what we're doing and get feedback, which is always good.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. So, as you said, you're from Bathurst. You've competed in Orange. Now, was that one of the Yaks festivals?
No, it was, what they call themselves? I can't even remember what they called themselves back, the first ones. They did a couple of years of Orange and one in Wollongong. Yeah,
it's escaping me at the moment now as well. Anyway, so you're from Bathurst. You compete in sort of everywhere from as you said, the rural areas to the coast to the cities. I've seen you as far up here as Brisbane. I know that you certainly travel around. Now, you've just mentioned flavour profiles there. Do you change your flavour profiles between cooking in rural towns versus the cities, or do you have one competition profile and you just hit that every time?
Oh, at first we used to just do the same thing, but we're finding, say, with brisket, that there's some slight differences between country and city. So there might be some tinkering to go on there. The country people prefer just a beef or a meat flavour, not too peppery. Whereas we're finding the major cities are liking it sickly sweet.
Oh, interesting. A sweet brisket.
Yeah. I haven't done it yet. I just haven't been able to bring myself to do it. But, some of the other teams I've spoken to, that's what they seem to be having some great success with.
Yeah, I think I saw a team do that on Barbecue Pitmasters. I think it was Lockhart Smokehouse, and they called it a sugar cookie.
Yeah.
So it was very strange to see someone just packing brown sugar onto a brisket.
Yeah. So, I like to trial different things and go with what majority of people, when I give them samples to see what they do. A lot of people are really honest and give me some good feedback.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump into 2019, mate. Tell us about 2019. You just mentioned that you did lose a teammate during the year, and we've already sorted out how he's going to make that up to you. But tell us everything, man. Tell us how did it start? Run us through the ups and downs, the opportunities that have popped up for you. Give it to us.
Yeah, well, I suppose not quite as it didn't travel quite as much as Dan White, but we're probably close to him. We did just on 12,000 kilometres that we drove through the year. We did 12 ABA events, 1 KCBS event, and 9 SEA events.
Wow.
In the end, we ended up equal top with the 300 points with the ABA. But obviously on the countback, the way the system worked, we ended up 4th with the amount of teams that you beat to get there.
Yep.
So we did the verified Black Angus was probably our first win earlier on in the year at Albury. That was a good start. Our next win was probably Tamworth show, and then a couple of weeks after that was the Invitational. About a month later was Invitational, and then the week after that was Kangaroo Valley. So that was all of our wins. We also got a couple of reserves in the Beef at the Vines and the Russell Showdown in Canberra. Where else? We've got the Rib King up at the KCBS at Cleveland in Brizzy. So it was good to get a 6-pack from all the other teams that competed in it with the pork rib, and I made sure I took a photo of each beverage and sent it to each team, thanking them. So hopefully that'll happen again. Somebody else will win it, and so hopefully I'll get the same photo sent back at me.
Yeah, I thought that was a really nice touch. That was Rusty that put that together, wasn't it? Rusty from Mental Blank Charcoal Project.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was working at that festival there as well, and it was really nice the way that all that sort of came, that the whole festival really, how the whole thing came together. So 12 plus 9 plus 1, what's that, 22 competitions in a year. How do you find the time?
Yeah, well, some of them are linked together, like some of the SEAs, but I don't think we're going to be doing that many events this year. The wife said you can only do so many, so we'll see what happens. It always ends up, just one a month, but we'll find out.
Yeah. And are you planning on heading up to Cairns for the big one?
Certainly are. So that was one of the first things after the Invitational. We booked everything, so I'm going to drive up there and drag our new rig up there, and the girls are flying up, and will meet me at Townsville. We'll do Townsville, and then we'll spend 2 weeks on a family holiday and get to Cairns.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Then, hopefully that'll all go well up there.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a new rig. What are you rolling with now?
We used to always drag the caravan, but sometimes some of the promoters got a bit hard to get in a nearly 9 metre long trailer. Although in saying that, like Smokeface Grillas or Texas Pits actually bigger than our footprint that we used to put down. But we've just got ourselves a little 4.3 metre enclosed trailer. So we can set benches up and that, and we can put the machines in and obviously do a bit of sleeping in it and just have everything there, rather than at the moment when I get home I have to take things off trailers or try and organise a mate to come around and help me lift things off. And it became a bit of pain. So we just looked at something that we could just drop a door down at the back and load it up like a toy hauler.
Ah, right. Yeah, now I did see that trailer at Kangaroo Valley, I think. Did you have that there?
No. Lucas had a new one then.
Yep.
Yeah, no. Ours is only, what's it now, 2 weeks old. So.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of things still going on with where to put things and where we have to put cupboards or where we need to put shelves, and a lot of little fiddling around things that'll hopefully happen. Our next comp's not until April, first weekend in April, so we should have it sorted by then.
First competition in April. Which one's that one?
Mudgee.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Meet and Mudgee. I've heard that's a ripper of a comp. I'm yet to actually make it down there.
Yeah, no. One of Rob Thrave's events, so it's always good. And where it's held in the showground, it's like all set up for caravans, so it's just perfect. You can just plug things in, water's there, power's there, sewer's there, fresh hot showers, everything's perfect.
Oh, made for it, mate. Made for it. Perfect. Now, you mentioned winning the Invitational there just a little while ago. Mate, tell us about that.
Oh, where do you start? It's funny, actually, the weekend before was the Dam Hotel. And, look, my chicken dishes have always been really good this year. It's always been in the top 5, let alone, I don't know, I think we won about 5 with the chicken. And got to the Dam and got like second or third last. And so I'm thinking, this is so close to where the invitation is going to be. All the locals are going to have the same flavour profile. I was umming and ahhing about change. My wife convinced me not to, and we ended up winning the chicken with that. So that was the first call, and everything just went well on the day. It wasn't probably the best chicken that I've cooked. It wasn't the best, any protein that we've cooked, but it was just all good. So we're happy with how everything went, and obviously during the presentation we got chicken, so we're ecstatic that we'd done that, and then we also got first place in the pork. So instantly we're up there running, but again, just of late our brisket, I've been really happy with it, and I've liked the taste of it, but it just hasn't scored so well. So it dragged us right down, and when in the end we ended up beating the second team by 1 point, and they beat a team by 1 point, and they beat the fourth place by a point. So there was only 4 points between all of us.
Oh, wow.
So everyone had a chance to win it. Everyone had a chance to lose it, and you only need 1 point to win, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So describe that feeling when they call out your name to come up for grand champion.
Oh, I was just ecstatic. Didn't know what to say. Looking around, everyone was clapping and cheering, and so many of mates that I've seen stand up there and get the good big prizes. We've come so close on different ones where we've done meat stock and taken out a couple of categories and completely bombed one and not got it. And then to get it and have everyone clapping, it was pretty awesome and really humbling. So,
and do you wear the ring everywhere you go now?
No, I've never been really like that.
Oh, okay.
We pull it out at different comps. We'll pull it out at Prezzo or whatnot. We took it down to Kangaroo Valley to stir some of the guys up, but it's locked in a safe here.
Yeah,
because they're not cheap either. So.
Oh, they're not makeup jewelry.
Nah. So I think they're like $1,500 each or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. So it was good, and that was the first ever World Championships that were ever held here in Australia. So I suppose nobody can ever take that away from you.
No, so you can actually say that you are the inaugural Australian World Championship winner.
Yeah. So Adam Roberts always comes up anytime he speaks to me or whatever. He always, "G'day, world champ." So
that's nice. That's nice.
Suppose you got it for a year.
Yeah. Oh, they don't take the rings back, do they?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry,
So
you just mean
we
officially hold the title for a year.
yeah.
Right. I thought you meant they're going to try and take the rings from you. I was like, what?
No. So we all got one. So the girls normally wear it on a necklace, and yeah.
Oh, that's cute. That's nice. So was there a reciprocal agreement with the Invitational? So because you won that one, do you get to now go compete at a competition over in the States?
Well, I think we now become eligible for the American Royal Invitational.
The Royal?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So does the ABA run that as a ballot?
I think because of where we are, we may actually get in for winning the first World Championship.
Yep.
So that's what we're hoping for. But all those things don't happen until April, so we'll know more with that.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Now that was quite a prize purse at the Invitational as well. So I'm guessing that's what's led to the new 2-week-old trailer.
Yeah. It was a good. Our last 3 comps of the year were quite good because we also won a state cook-off as well.
Yeah, you got the golden ticket there.
Yeah, so we've got another golden ticket. So it was all good. Put a bit of cash into the bank rather than always dragging out 1,000 every competition, pretty much, plus travel.
Yeah, at least if you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're listening to the internationally awarded Smoking Hot Confessions podcast with massive barbecue nerd Ben Arnott.
Now, Wookie, you just mentioned the SCA there just before the break, and I didn't realise you'd actually won 2 golden tickets. I was just going to talk about one.
No. So we won one at Tamworth last year, and then right at the end of this year, we won another one. So
Was that Kangaroo Valley?
yeah. No, it was at Katara.
Ah, right. Yeah, the Rob Thraves competition there.
Yeah.
Right.
We've got a golden ticket for this year's one. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. So when you get 2 golden tickets, does that mean you get an invite to subsequent years, or does the golden ticket roll back to the next person in line?
It rolls back, but the first golden ticket we got just before the World Championships. I think we got it in end of August, so we could have gone to the October last year, but we didn't. And then this one that we won in November, December allows us to go to the one in October 2020.
Ah, okay. Rightio. So the ticket that you won for last year's one, that's kind of voided now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. So you're looking at 2 trips to the States this year. I'm guessing if it comes down to a choice, you kind of got to go the Royal, don't you?
Yeah, well, this year for the way it's fell, the Royal and the SCA are only 2 weeks apart.
Ooh, that's cool.
So there might be a road trip, and who knows, the Jack, if you're lucky enough to get pulled out in that, it's a week after the SCA.
Ah, there you go.
So there's too many what ifs at this point in time of what's happening next year. We'd like to go and do the Royal, but as people like Sterling Smith and that have said, if you can get yourself a start at the Jack, you can always do the Royal the next year.
Oh, okay. He reckons that the Jack sort of trumps the Royal.
Yeah. So,
interesting. Now, is it the KCBS that has the reciprocal agreements with the Jack? So if you win a KCBS, you get a bung in the draw for the Jack?
Yeah, ABA does as well, but the only condition is that for ABA, you can't have a lamb dish in there.
Right.
Like a lamb category, you've got to have the 4 KCBS, like just the chicken, pork ribs, brisket. So if we did an ABA event that just had those, then that could get you a bung as well.
Oh, now that's interesting.
So that's why sometimes I go with the promoters, get rid of the lamb.
Yeah.
Keep with the basics. Keep with the basics. But a lot of them like to trick it up or do something.
Yeah, well, they sort of want to take the opportunity to put a bit of an Australian spin on it all.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So does that mean then that we're going to maybe see Grillas in the Mist sort of try and slide in a few more KCBS comps this year?
Yeah, that's for sure. We're going to try and do a couple. They're probably going to be the Queensland ones.
Excellent.
So we'll see what happens. We may, at the end of this year, be living in Queensland. We're just sorting some things out at the moment.
Do it. I moved to Queensland 10 years ago and I've loved every minute of it.
Yeah, so got some good friends up there, so we'll quite possibly that's sooner than later.
Well, if you're coming up for a bit of a 3-week, 4-week trip around the Townsville and Cairns comps, you might have a bit of an opportunity to slip in some real estate shopping and whatnot.
Yeah, that's the plan. But we've just got a few fires happening at the moment, and once they're all sorted, then we can make decisions.
Now, do you mean actual fires? How did you fare during the crisis?
We were pretty good. Our worst thing is that we had like 21 days of smoke haze that you could only see between 100 and 500 meters.
Wow!
But we didn't have fire. That when you was near our properties, but friends and people nearby, they all did. The road to Sydney, if you go the Bells Line Road, it's just devastated, absolutely devastating.
Just all burnt up on both sides of the road.
Yeah, and then it's like the trees it's so hot that the trees don't exist there anymore. It's just like a barren ground in different places.
Well, I was reading that in a big bushfire like we had, they actually explode. They get so hot that the liquid in the trees doesn't have enough time to escape, and it builds up pressure. It just goes off like a bomb.
Yeah.
Must be horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
So are you in town or are you out on property?
No, we're in town.
Oh, okie dokie.
Yeah. So we were on the edge of town, but we've just moved into town.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you had a bit of city water and things like that to be able to help out if the fire did get too close.
Yeah.
Ah, good to hear you're safe, mate. Very, very, very comforting to know. So the next thing that I wanted to get into was your smoker setups. So I've been looking at your Instagram and your Facebook profiles, and it looks to me like you've kind of gone minimalist at a time in the scene when a lot of people are going bigger, adding more. You turn up to some guys' sites, they got 6 or 7 different barbecues running. From what I could see from the photos, you guys are just running one GMG. It looked like the Jim Bowie, I couldn't quite tell from the photo, and a Weber GA. Is that right?
We've always run 2 machines. Sometimes they were Jim Bowie and a Daniel Boone, but since about May this year, we've been just running 2 Jim Bowies, and we've got a little Davy Crockett as well. So we normally have 2 big machines and a one little spare for emergency. That actually saved us with the chicken at the Invitational.
Ah, it's earned its place then.
Yeah. One thing that's great about them is that you can just jump on it and you can crank the temperature up to like 350, 400, and it only takes like a minute or so to get to there if it's just sitting at 275. So we could throw the chicken in there to get it up to temperature and get it through. It's a little bit low for my liking, and we got it up there. Yeah,
that's very handy.
Yeah, and then SCA comps, we tend to just use the Davy Crockett to either reverse sear or finish the temperature, and then we've been using a little Weber GA to sear the steaks with the grill grates.
Oh, yeah, just to get those lines in there.
Yeah, so but with this, we're just looking at the moment of getting PK grill to do the SCA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which particular PK are you looking at?
The Go Anywhere. Well, they've got Easy Go or something, I think it's called.
Okay.
Original. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the PK original. It's the one that's got its own sort of little curved legs underneath it.
Yeah.
It just sits on a table.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw Lucas and Shane from Roll and Smoke and Roll and Shane have them.
Yeah, Shane's got it.
Yeah. I got a PK 360 and I just love it to bits.
Yeah.
So tell me about the GMGs. You obviously love them. You're running them exclusively now. Are you sponsored by GMG, or do you just really love them that much that you just put all your faith in their product?
Oh, look, we've loved them right from the start, and then we approached Hark, who's the distributor. And so for the last 3 years, we've been sponsored with them, and again this year they've re-signed us. So I can't speak highly enough of the GMGs because they're just, a competition proven. There's so many new machines that are coming on the market now that you don't know how they're going to go over time. The support for the GMG is fantastic. I've had spare parts for the new primes, but they just seem to be bulletproof at the moment. So hopefully they continue that way because, we're driving a lot of kilometres and they're getting bounced around all over the place, and they tend to keep on going. So a lot of people, if they've had issues, they've rung me to get answers, or if they need to do something, they ring me. And if it hasn't happened to one of our machines over the last 10 years, then it's happened to somebody else's that I can at least tell them the easy fix. They're just a reliable machine. In the States, I think the last time I heard they were selling 10,000 of those units a month.
10,000 a month?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just crazy compared to the Aussie market.
Yeah, I think the Aussie market would be lucky to be 10,000 in a year, wouldn't it?
Oh, 10,000 in probably the last 5 years.
Oh, right. Yeah, wow. So are you telling me then that you're still running the original GMG that you got 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's actually my test kitchen. It sits on my patio. It's been retired, but it probably gets used more than all the others, which is funny.
Interesting.
So my original one is still here.
Good to know that it's still up and running.
Yeah, the old Daniel Boone. So she's still going. And then the new primes are just brilliant. If anyone's looking at getting a pellet grill for comp, the new primes, crazy not to get one of those. They just work sensational. People wind's a little bit noisy, but they're just reliable and they're just holding temperature right. And I suppose it's like any pit. You learn how they work. It's like, if I jumped onto some of these big flash radars and whatnot, it'd take me a while to understand how they work.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm the same about motorbikes. I grew up riding motorbikes, and my son loves it when I run into like a friend who's got a motorbike. I don't own one anymore. And he always says, Daddy, can you take me for riding the bike? So I asked my friend, can I take my son? Yeah, sure. I always make sure I do a couple of blocks by myself before I put my son on so I know how that bike's going to handle.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting, yeah. So you mentioned the Prime and how good they are for competitions. What makes them so good for competitions?
They're a lot solider builds with the wheels. Also, the main thing that I like about it is the fire pit's a bit bigger, and the way the air blows through it, it's a bit more. And so you don't have to, in the older ones, after about every 5 cooks, you have to give them a really good clean out the firebox. But it's this one, the new one that we got last year, January last year, it hasn't needed to be vacuumed out the firebox. The actual around the outside of the firebox where all the ash collects, it has to be cleaned out over time. But in the actual firebox, we haven't had to. It's just they're really, really good. The diffuser's good in it. They're a little bit bigger. Yeah.
Now, I saw a post the other day. I think it was for GMG. I'm happy to be corrected. Some kind of attachment that fits inside the grill at the bottom of the chimney. Do you know what they are?
Oh, the Don Quixotes.
Yeah. Is that for GMG or is that somebody else?
No, it's a like a different person doesn't work for GMG. It's just his aftermarket product that he has, and you clip it on and it keeps the smoke down lower. So
Oh, okay. So it sort of forces more smoke across the meat then.
yeah, so that's the theory behind it all. So I don't know. Depends on who you talk to what they think, whether or not you're looking at everyone that's doing different tests on it. Some people reckon that's worth it. Some people say it's not. Me, I just use it in its natural form. It's working well for us.
Well, I was going to say it's obviously not a problem because just look at your track record the last couple of months and speaks for itself.
Yeah. So, they're just working really well, and they travel well. That's the main two things. We like the fruit wood blend that Green Mountains do with their pellet. And tends to put a good colour on everything and not overpower like some of the other flavours. Will overpower chicken or might make the brisket better, but because we're running a lot of the same proteins in and out of the two machines, so we're cross doing them. So you need to have everything the same. And that's why we run everything at 275 as well, Fahrenheit, and worked our timings out on those.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I've got a vertical offset radar hill and I just run everything through the one smoker. And so yep. I've done the same thing. I've adapted all my different cook times and techniques and things to suit a 275 cook temperature.
Yep.
Easy peasy. It's a good fix. Now, do you go all in with your GMG and connect it up to your phone and bring a mobile hotspot to the competitions and use all the different internet features?
Well, we first got them because the first machines we got, Wi-Fi didn't exist.
Well, that's a good point. It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and then as the Wi-Fi, we bought the Wi-Fi in, and so we bought the modules so that we could run Wi-Fi, and we connected them into our home thing so we could go down the street and turn them on and turn them off and put profiles in and do all that sort of stuff. But the only time I ever use the Wi-Fi component is to update a firmware if I think it's worthwhile.
Oh, no, that's an interesting thing. GMG actually releases firmware updates.
Yep.
Oh, fascinating. What sort of things do they adjust?
All with the computer sensors in, either making the usage of the pellets more efficient, or just controlling different things, or reducing. Like they changed the fan on one of the latest updates so that the fan's not as noisy.
And they managed to do that just with firmware?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Because the computer in it is talking to the sensors and stuff 3 times a second, and either telling the fan to blow harder or not, or to feed pellets into it.
Right. So they're, I guess, making the sensors more efficient, which makes the adjustments to the speed of the fan more efficient, which overall reduces noise.
Yeah, and like from the original systems, it was either the fan or the auger were either they were on or they were off. But it's now with technology they're variable as well, so it can control the speed of the auger, or amp the fan up and down constantly rather than either being on or off.
Oh, that's cool. I'm a bit of a techno head. I love like all this sort of stuff. So they can actually ramp not only the fans up and down, but the augers as well.
Yeah.
Ha! I had no idea. That is so awesome.
Yeah, so clever people out there.
No doubt, mate, no doubt. So for these trips to the States you got coming up next year, are you lining up with GMG to have some units at the competitions that you can borrow?
Yeah, that's what we're being told. So like anything, I'm one of those people that once I'm there, I'll make sure that they're there.
Yeah.
Rather than relying, turning up on the day, I'll be there before to make sure everything's there that I require. Yeah,
well, if you're lining it all up through Loot and Booty, he'll get you sorted for sure.
Yeah. Well, I've spoken to Sterling, but more so through Caroline and Tim Harkin. here that are Hark Enterprises. So they're our distributor for Australia, and they're saying that with their American distributor that they'll honour it. So,
oh, that's nice. So the Australian business relationship will extend to overseas. You're not having to rely on, as we said, someone like Sterling to ring some mates and get you a GMG to borrow.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm told. Well, that's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. If worst comes to worst, I'll definitely be ringing Sterling.
Yeah. I reckon he's got probably 16 mates with GMGs on speed dial.
Yeah. Well, he's there all the time, and where he lives is right near where they make the GMGs.
Very helpful and very good to know.
Yeah.
Got a project you'd like to work on with the SHC team? Shoot Ben an email on ben@smokinghotconfessions.com and let's have a conversation.
All right, Wookie, now is the time for you to bear all, mate. We're going to get into some competition tips and tricks that you got lined up for us. Now, I'm really fascinated to find this out. As we said at the top of the episode, you're the winner of the Invitational. You've won a bunch of different trophies throughout the year. You've got the rings. Tell us share some wisdom with us.
Probably the main thing is make sure you set an alarm 10 minutes beforehand. When we went to Just Smoking in Gloucester, we were cooking really well and we're scoring quite well, and we're just sitting around and there were 40-minute hand-ins and it just completely threw us, and the judges came up and said, "Oh, you missed your hand-in window." We go, no, got another 10 minutes. They go, "No, you haven't." So I always say, go and check exactly what time hand-ins are, what proteins they are, and then that's the first thing you need to do, is set an alarm 10 minutes before, so then you know that you've still got 10 minutes to start putting your box together, or go into a mad panic to make sure you got time to get it in.
Yeah.
Because that cost us severely.
Oh, so you actually completely missed it. They wouldn't even let you do a slide it in a couple of seconds after.
No.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, it hurt. And I think we needed 265 for our pork box to have taken it out, but you learn hard.
Yeah, you certainly won't be making that mistake again.
Yeah. So we've always got those, and sometimes we have dual alarms for them. So we'll have a 10-minute warning, and then they'll have one when the hand-in goes, so we know we've got 5 minutes.
I wonder if with all these virtual reality assistants and things, you could actually program Siri to give you vocal prompts. You'd just have Siri say, "Wookie, you have 10 minutes till hand-in." "Wookie, you have 9 minutes to hand-in." I wonder how long that'd last before you just threw the phone in a bucket of water.
Yeah, we've got little alarms. We've got little alarms that go off. So, and then probably the main thing that I always say is everyone, they'll say they're doing practices, but they never record times and how long things are taking. And so I've got records of pretty much every comp that we've done and what times we've booked in, and then what actual times it did take. So silly things like if you're cooking up here where I live, or even where Chris lives, he's at 900 metres above sea level. So water boils at 97 instead of 100.
Ah.
So instantly it takes a lot longer to do your cook. So we might do a practice cook up here, and it might say take 5 hours to do it, and you get down to Sydney on the beaches, and it's taken 3.5 or 3.25 hours.
So the pellet grills with all their sensors and computer controllers don't negate that problem?
No, I think it's just still that's what the meat cooks at, or water. It doesn't matter how good your things are. Water will always boil at that, and it'll take more energy to get that meat protein through.
Yeah, sure. I understand. Yeah, I just kind of figured with the unit measuring the meat temperature and then controlling both the oxygen and the pellets that'd sort of balance that out. Maybe that'll be the next firmware update.
So we just find this sometimes things work differently, and sometimes it's different meats as well, depending on the marbling that's in them or not. So we write those sorts of things down.
And so do you just have like just a paper notebook for that, or do you keep like one note on an iPad, or how do you go about doing it?
So I've got like an Excel program that I'll print out each time for each competition, and then I write on it so that I can vary times, or if I've tried something, or we're doing a different thing, or you turn up and Promoters Challenge is something bizarre that we've already done before. We've got a bit of an idea of times as well.
Okay.
So I'll have a hard copy that I'll write on, and then I've got a electronic copy that I keep in case things all go pear-shaped. And then when I get home, I'll adjust what we actually did. So then I can have a look and see what we budgeted on and what actually occurred.
Interesting. So you'd have your step-by-steps written out, and then one column for your budgeted time, what you think it's going to take you, and then an empty column for handwritten notes for what actually happened.
Yeah, I just normally just write next to where it is. So, yeah, it's weird spreadsheet, but, I can just write over the top of it. But it's all timed, all in timelines, so they're linked. And also when you're setting up, depending on how a promoter's decided to do something, they might put lamb first, or they might put lamb last, and that may clash with where your chicken needs to go on, or where your wrapping of your beef is, or so you can at least see where they are, and then you can at least move them around a little bit as well.
Yeah, I guess that would add to the challenge, wouldn't it? At least with the in the KCBS competitions with just the 4 hand-ins, they're always the same ones at the same time in the same order.
Yep.
Certainly adds to the challenge. It makes it a bit more interesting, though, when you got to change it before each comp.
Yeah, I'm probably one of those people that just likes to do like that KCBS, just the same thing, the same time, and repeat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm very much that sort of way.
I think my son's the same way. I don't know if you've got Netflix, but I can't tell you how many times we've watched every single episode of Final Space.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I tell you what, unbelievable. All right, so we've got alarms 10 minutes before hand-in. We've got do your homework, so not just tracking your cooks at home, but also tracking your cooks at the competition. What else you got up your sleeve for us?
Probably one of the things is not to get too disappointed with your scores. We always want great scores, but there's so many judges and different people that you get put on the table, and that's just the thing with this competition. We can't get the exact same people. It'd be nice if you could. So sometimes, you walk away and you're quite disappointed, but, if you sit back and just look at it it is a sport, and the judges are slightly different, like any, say, referee. We've got to accept that. I think once you start doing that, then you don't take it as hard as much.
Yeah, so you got to sort of accept what the referee says. Now, do you think we're going to see something like what they do in soccer, where people are going to be walking for the hand-ins and they're going to fall down and pretend they've broken their leg just to try and get a special compensation from the judges, and then once they realise they've got that, they pop up and just run back to their tents again? And
who knows? Hopefully not.
No, I hope not. I was just being silly, but those soccer players kind of get to me.
Yeah, I mean, probably depending on how your team's set up. So most of the time I'm now cooking, say, by myself. My wife's there to help me do parsley and make the box look pretty, but the actual cook's all done by me. So just being aware of your times, I suppose, and doing that with your practice. I forget where I was going with this.
Were you heading towards like some kind of planner device that you put up on a whiteboard or something?
No, because that's all. I've already got the printout on all of that.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot which.
That's all right. Yeah. That's all right. Move on to the next one, and we'll circle back when it comes to you.
Yeah. Have fun. That's, I suppose, the main thing is having fun. Make sure that you're refreshed and right from the beginning with your timing. So, like when we first started, at times we'd take 12 hours to cook a brisket because that's how the best briskets are. But 12 hours later, that means that you're up at 11 o'clock at night, and then at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, when you're actually cutting your brisket up and trying to make it look pretty in the box, you're that tired and stuff that you just don't care, and you say, "Oh, I'll just throw it in the box." So, that's why we started upping our temperatures to 275, and like some of these guys with their drums that are at 300, 310 sort of thing, they're cooking their briskets 4 or 5 hours.
I've heard some as high as 350.
Yeah.
That's a very, very fine margin of error there. Like, you got to be really confident with your skills to be able to ramp a brisket up to 350.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
I mean cook it at 350, I mean.
Yeah. Well, just the window of between done and not, and overdone is, you start getting into probably like a 10-minute window that you might be lucky enough to pick off if less.
Yeah.
Whereabouts other, if you're cooking at 225, you go, oh, yeah, it's going to be ready in the next 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what we've played with 300, but just the 275 seems to be where we like to be at. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it's a nice relaxed window for doneness.
Yeah. And then just given everything other than chicken, we rest.
Oh, okay. How long do you rest them for?
Well, briskets between 2 and 3 hours. Down to say like pork ribs are still an hour.
Wow. So do you like keep them in a cambro then to hold them at box temperature for that long?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So depending on what time of year, to whether or not like last weekend at the dam, all you had to do was open up the cambro for 5 minutes to get it to temperature. Whereabouts other comps, you've got to get boiling water and tip it in to warm them up.
I did see one guy had an electric one.
Yeah. So you can use the electric one, but once you put the meat in, you're not allowed to have it plugged into electric.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so your cambro, you can have them so you can preheat them to whatever temperature. So some of you can go, right here, dial it into 65 degrees C and get it sitting there. But once you put any meat in it, then it's got to be without power. Otherwise, that's like a disqualification.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So some people will get bricks and put bricks in their pit or wherever and heat them up and then put them in their cambro and get the cambro to the temperature they want.
That's a good trick too.
Yeah.
All right. So did that other tip and trick come back to your mind?
No, it hasn't.
It's gone. That's all right. That's all right. We'll get it next time.
Well, hopefully we continue with the full sale like we did at the end of last year and it becomes all good.
Mate, I'm absolutely convinced you will. And anyone I talk to when they ask me who are the teams to watch this year, you're on my list.
Well, we've been lucky, and I suppose a lot of it is a lot of people got a good group of guys that all kind of respect, and we all help each other out, and everyone's quite happy to talk what they're doing or what rubs that they're using. Obviously, everyone keeps a couple of things up their sleeves, but most of the time, everything's all there.
Yeah, I find most competitive barbecuers will give you about 95% of what they're doing. Yeah, which is amazing.
There's so many so many new young teams that are out there that, if we didn't get help like from Neil and them with Double Barrel, then we wouldn't be on the path that we're on. And there's a bunch of us. We all have like little cups that we play for. So with the Full Throttle and Angus Reserve and Aussie Boys, Texas, we've got like a crazy donkey cup that we compete for just on the side with little side bets and filling up drinks, and we're a brisket cup and there's a mutton mug and all fun things. And lot of us you've got to show a photo of what you handed in. We keep it amongst ourselves, but it's quite amusing to see what some of the other teams are doing.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear that there's like a little sort of side pot community happening there.
Good fun.
Alrighty, Wookie, we might start to wrap this up now. I've taken up about an hour of your time. So I'm going to hand the studio over to you now. So give some shout outs to whoever you want to give shout outs to, and tell everybody where they can track you down on the internet.
Oh yeah, we're just on Facebook, Grillas in the Mist. If you have any questions with the GMGs, send them through. We get quite a few with all different things of what they're doing and temperatures and things. We normally give you some advice where to start with. Hark Enterprises have just been fantastic with the GMG. So thanks Caroline and Tim for supporting us. Also Mike with Oak Ridge Barbecue. He's always supplied us with some good product that's helped us out along the way.
Beautiful, man. That's fantastic. So once again, I just want to say thank you very much for coming on the show, and best of luck for the rest of 2020.
Thank you.
And there you have it, family. That is it for today's show. How interesting was that to hear from Wookie from Grillas in the Mist? I actually didn't realise that he was now that he had done the second half of 2019 as a one-man team. To be able to rock into the Invitational and walk out with those rings as a one-man team, that is pretty darn cool. And hats off to his wife for jumping in and getting involved as well. That is really awesome to see that a family can come together like that. And at the end of the day, that's what barbecue is all about. It's about that family all hooking in, all getting together and all having a good time. Absolutely amazing. So big thank you to Wookie. We talked about the 2019 results, the ups and downs, the opportunities that have happened for them. So they've got the Royal on the horizon. They've got the SCA World Championships on the horizon. There's a good chance they might end up throwing the Jack in there as well. He's coming up to Queensland. He's hitting up the far north Queensland on a tour whilst looking for housing to move here. How cool is that? And we talked about the GMGs. We talked about just about everything you'd ever need to know about a GMG pellet grill. And as he said, if you did have any questions, just jump onto the socials and hit him up. And then we rounded out the episode talking about those competition tips and tricks. So there was some little pearls of wisdom in there which will help you get those few extra little percents out of your performance there in the competitions. And if you're cooking in the backyard, they are going to take you from being king of the barbecue in your street to king of the barbecue in your neighborhood. So that is really awesome. So I'm going to leave you with one last thought. If you are looking for the hottest barbecue merch out there, head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com/shop and check it out. There's a link in the description for this episode. And if you buy a shirt, cap, tumbler, or hoodie, I will love you forever, because that's going to give us a couple of bucks towards our trip to the NBBQA conference in Louisville in April over in Kentucky, which is the home of bourbon. I'm very excited about that. I'm actually going to be presenting on stage over there at the conference. At the conference. I better be able to say the word right before I go over and stand up there in front of people. So that's going to be really awesome, really fun, and we're looking forward to that. So until next time, take care of each other and keep on queuing.
Thanks for listening to the Smoking Hot Confessions podcast. Head on over to smokinghotconfessions.com for recipes, tips, and Ben's own confessions.